Welcome back to this week's Science Club. This episode will be exploring the science behind getting stabbed and what you should do if you ever find yourself in that situation. Anyway, now it is time for our riddle. This week's riddle is about some of the smaller creatures in our animal kingdom, ants. Max and Rose are two ant siblings. In their free time, the brother and sister ants love to race each other. However, they always tie and neither of them win because they crawl at the exact same speed. One day, the ants decide to create a race where one of them will hopefully win. The race works like this. Each of the ants start on the bottom corner of a cube, and there's a crumb on the opposite corner that they have to reach as fast as they can. The measurements of each cube is as pictured. If both Max and Rose take the fastest possible route to their crumb, who will get there first? Don't forget that Max and Rose are ants and can crawl on any of the edges and surfaces of their cube. Don't forget to leave your answer in the comment section below, and good luck. Let's say you're walking down the street one night when, boom, someone jumps out and stabs you. What do? Well, you probably heard the advice that if someone gets stabbed, they should leave the blade in. Why is that, you may ask? Well, this experiment will show you just why. For this week's experiment, we will need 2 plastic bags, a plastic container, some water, and 2 pencils, a sharpener to sharpen the pencils, and some red food coloring for realism purposes. First, we'll take our pencils and use a pencil sharpener to sharpen the tips. This will help the pencils punch through the bag as easy as possible and leave clean entry and exit holes. Now that we've got our pencil sharpened, we can take our plastic bag, open it up, and fill it with about 2 cups of water. The precision of our water measurement isn't so important as long as the bag is decently full. Now that we've filled the bag up with enough water, we'll take some of our red food coloring and put a couple drops into the water. And we'll carefully seal it up. That way there's no leak. And then we just shake the water around a bit so that the color spreads and it looks a little bit more like blood. Now that it's done, we can set it aside for now and move on. After sealing it and then shaking it around a little bit, you should have now 2 identical bags filled with red water. Like that. Now, we'll take our first bag and our 2 pencils. Hold it over the plastic container to keep it clean and stab it through from one end to the other. For this trial, we'll leave both the pencils in, and you'll notice that there's virtually no leakage from the bag. Even though it's been stabbed twice, it'll take a very long time for all of the water to leave. Even smacking the bag doesn't really do much. You can see a little bit of the water coming out and running along the bag, but even compressing the bag and jostling the water around doesn't change the fact that the pencils being in make it so that there's very little leakage. Now, for our second trial, we'll take our second plastic bag and hold it over the plastic container just like so. Then, after stabbing both the pencils through from end to end, we'll pull them out. You can tell that unlike the first trial, as soon as the pencils are out, the water starts to gush out of the bag. You can tell that the bag is emptying much faster than the first one, and after a matter of seconds, there's a very small amount of water left inside. And there we have it. That looks like a bad day. The focus of this experiment lies in polymers. Polymers are long chains of molecules that make up many items that we use in our everyday lives, specifically plastic items. Zipper-top plastic bags, like the one used in our experiment, plastic grocery bags, plastic water and soda bottles, and plastic food packaging are all made of polymers. Products made of polymers are flexible, lightweight, leak-proof, and low in cost to produce. You can think of polymers as long chains of beads. When you stab a pencil through the bag, the polymers move apart. This is the same as if you stuck a pencil between two chains of beads. Because polymers are flexible, when you stab a pencil through the bag, the polymers push back towards the pencil and form a temporary seal. This pressure prevents the water from leaking out of the holes. If you were to remove the pencils from the bag, the holes will remain in the bag because you have permanently pushed the polymers aside, allowing water to leak out. As a human, if you were stabbed, you want to leave the knife in for similar reasons. In these scenarios, the knife is applying pressure and cooperating with the flexibility of your body to hold your wound closed. Removing that object means that there is no longer a temporary seal and the wound can flow freely. Since, like polymers, the body tissues are rigid, they reform around the wound, and you would also want to make sure that the object moves as little as possible. Once in your body, the knife acts like a plug, helping to seal any severed blood vessels, while pulling the knife out would unplug the wound and could turn a survivable wound into a fatal injury. Now you know what to do in case you ever get stabbed, and the science behind it. I hope you enjoyed this week's Science Club. This wouldn't have been possible without Marko Bajtek, our founder, and Richard He, our editor. Once again, it would be appreciated if you could fill out the Google form in the description below and leave any feedback or criticisms. Don't forget to leave your answer to the riddle in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.